on where you live, it might be a difficult process, but I've looked a little bit into it thinking, man, the whole world could collapse and we could still have our own medication, which would be really nice. But from what I understand, it's pretty difficult to get them to grow just right outside of greenhouse conditions. So I'm not taking it seriously. I might look into it again later. Malaysians are usually greens. Okay. Uh, Matt, we're talking about something called kratom, or some pronounce it kratom, and it's a leaf off of a tree that is used to treat anything from anxiety to sleeplessness to depression to pain, and it's quite the. It sure does look good from the way that I've been experiencing it and reading about it for the past, I don't know, few months. Sure does look good. Yeah, I'd say 3 to 4 grams is correct. Spockley says 3 to 4 grams for your first time, just a good level teaspoonful. You might want to get a scale. Some people use scales. Yeah, 7 grams is a big dose, Paul. That's a pretty fat dose. I would say start off with, like Apocalypse said, three. Just start off with three. If it doesn't do anything for you, in 4 hours time, then you can go ahead and, since you're going to have what's called crossover effect, because the three would not have worn off completely yet, even if you're not feeling it. So then you can go from three to maybe four, and then give that 4 or 5 hours. And if that didn't do it for you, you may just not be working for you, or you may need to go up to five. But if you're having to take 7 or 8 or 9 grams just to feel anything, that's not the right strain for you. What was your surgery, Val? What'd you have done, if you don't mind talking about it? Oh, you have your own greenhouses? Andrew, you're shit. And your climate, these things will grow too. And you could grow all your own stuff. Yeah. Yeah, you got to read up on it, Andrew. There is some special care you got to take, but once you get your trees going and everything, you take your leaves, get them dried out, chop them up, good to go. Got your own stuff. It's seasonal too. When you take the leaves and stuff, it makes a difference when you remove them. Got a kidney taken out. Ouch. Ouch. My eldest sister that I mentioned earlier in the show got in a car accident. She wasn't driving, but her the gear shift went right into her left kidney, and she lost it. So she's got to deal with that too. That's a little scary, man, just living with one kidney. So yeah, I guess with you, Val, there may be extra focus you need to place on, can this in any way affect your kidney's function when you're just dealing with one. So you may need to read a little bit extra. You know what I mean? I mean, I understand why that's a special precaution for you. But I think this stuff is an awesome alternative to medications. You can go away from this stuff and go back on a medication, and then leave the medication and go back onto this stuff. And I think, at least from everything I've learned about physiological interactions with medications, that can keep your tolerance for any one medication in check. So you're going back and forth from one to the other, because once your tolerance raises for anything, you have to have more and more and more to get an effect. So my idea is move, get away from one that you've been taking for too long, and use something else, or just take what they call a drug holiday, and if you can, just stop taking everything. Uh, at a bare minimum, like the other day, I was just taking Motrin. I can't go without anything, or I can't move. Everything stiffens up. My friggin' ankles start hurting, and I've never had ankle problems, but yeah, can't deal with that. RD, what's up? Yeah, Val, you can ask specific question at KC Forums, and they will answer you specifically. So, usually with references. Good to see you, RD. I was having an argument the other day with Barco, because I thought I was in a show listening to you speak, and it was him on your network running the show. Very scary stuff. Thought I had a memory lapse. The Dutch contingent is in here. And speaking of what you said on your show the other day, Paul Dembski, you said that you didn't know if you could hang with me talking about social issues and political issues. Of course you could. Of course you could. I don't tell anyone they're wrong. I mean, I just present my view. I take their view in. Sometimes their view changes my view. So as long as you have an interest in it, one of the things that when I worked at Gateway, I got more client appreciation letters than anybody on my teams. And I was on several different teams because I transferred from Hampton, Virginia to Colorado Springs. And people say, how you do it, Kev? How are you getting the letters from people? Why are you getting the letters? I said, well, it's really simple. There's two things. One, I don't make them feel stupid, because chances are they know a lot about some shit I know nothing about. So just because I know about computers doesn't make me a genius. And number two, I listen to them. Listen to them for a minute. Let them bitch about their day. Hear them. And people love you for that. So that's kind of my philosophy. So you shouldn't look at it as, can I hang with Kev on a show if we do a show? Because I'm not going to present an obstacle for you. I'm going to go into it with you. We may disagree about some things, but unless you're someone like Goofy Bone who likes to yell and scream if he feels like he's intimidated in any way, we're going to get along fine. Most of my friends are conservatives, and I'm center left myself, so it's just the way it works. Yeah. RD, I'm sitting there going, how the fuck is it that RD doesn't sound like a Dutchman? I had no idea Barco was hosting, and I had talked to him on the phone, but it didn't sound like him on your show. What a confusing time. You guys may be listening on iHeart, probably have no idea what I'm talking about, and I'm losing audience there, but yeah, that's later anyway. Why worry now about what you can ignore later? It is hard to tell. I could have sworn he's telling me, you were there, Kevin, you were there. I'm going, no, I was not at your show. What else is going on in the news? Yeah, I know, I didn't read the description. Let me close some of these Kratom sites. That's that. The Daily Brain. Oh yeah, looking at the news again. What are you guys thinking about ISIS? Are you worried about them? I'm not. I think they're selling newspapers. That's about it. Yeah, they're vicious. Yes, they have a decent income coming in, but they're not going to be. They're not going to grow. They're not going to grow and prosper. They're essentially an organized gang right now, and that's it. So David Cameron is to hold parliamentary debate on UK joining airstrikes in Iraq. I'm surprised UK's not with us on this yet. They're normally the first ones on our side. I mean, fucking France has joined in. I mean, when France joins in, you know, you've got some support. Let's see, anything else interesting in the news? Canada's new top doctor planning beefed up Ebola effort. Ebola, once again, you're probably as likely to be struck and killed by lightning by standing in the same spot twice that has been struck than to get Ebola. If you just look at it strictly from a statistical vantage point, don't worry about Ebola. Don't worry about it. They're trying to sell papers. Look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers, compare them to world population, and you'll see. French President Hollande condemns Algeria beheading linked to an Islamic State. That must be that new group. I can't remember what they're called. They're going to rise and fall like waves in the ocean, these groups. That 18 to 24-year-old angry young male demographic with no real cause, and come up under some imams that have preached some hardcore stuff to say that if people don't accept Islam, they either have to leave or be killed. They're going to look for some trouble. They're going to find some. But the last thing they're going to hear is the whistling of a Hellfire missile coming in from a drone. That's going to be it. Zoom. No more them. So if that's what you want your future to be, hey, go out there and fight that fight against those evil Americans. ISIS, go for it. Those are terrible people, aren't they? I mean, they just want freedom and democracy for everybody. They help nations just because they can. They save the world from fascist regime order that would have emerged from World War II. But no, they're evil, man. Go get those Americans, ISIS, you know. Can't let them thrive. They're godless. Fucking idiots. I said it, they're idiots. Al-Qaeda rejects. That's bad. When Al-Qaeda won't even take you, you ain't got much going for you. ESPN suspends Bill Simmons after Simmons dares ESPN to punish him. Wow. Well, looks like he asked for that. Looks like NASCAR driver Tony Stewart won't face charges for hitting Kevin Ward Jr. He was the one, I presume, that was killed. I don't follow racing very closely. You guys know India has a successful mission to Mars, and they did it very cheaply. So I'm guessing that behind the scenes, yeah, you thought it was India's people, but they really had a few Jews working for them. Yeah, that's what it was. Da-dang, dang. I'm just messing with you. But a Jew can do some things efficiently. You know this, man. NFL breast cancer awareness ad botched. Diabetes rates may be leveling off overall, U.S. officials say. I don't trust much of what U.S. officials say, so I'm not going to trust that either. I'll trust the doctors and the labs, but not U.S. officials. I'm not seeing a whole lot of interesting shit here. Maybe, yeah, Obama gave a pretty good speech today at the UN. If he truly supports and reinforces in others the beliefs that he portrayed during that speech, then he's got my pat on the back there. Because it's, you guys know that when Syria first broke, we're talking 2.5 years ago, I said we need boots on the ground. Nobody agreed with me. Nobody. We're in Iraq, we're in Afghanistan, fuck boots on the ground in Syria. Well, you know that Assad's regime was going into houses and gang raping 10-year-olds, right, in front of their parents, and then beheading the whole lot of them. Those weren't just rumors. Those were true. And not much has changed. Assad's regime was going into villages, and they would have teams go out and round up 12 and 13-year-old girls. They'd gang rape them and then behead them so they couldn't report to the international organizations. I said we needed to stop that because my thought is this. The world's richest country should be able to stop a government from attacking its people. And I'm talking innocent civilians here. It should be able to. If we can't do that, then I don't know if we're everything we say we are. Now, I understand why Obama wanted to try to keep out of it. We had a war-weary America. We had a world that was looking at us as being a bit too aggressive, at least in their view. I understand that. But once you start hearing these stories and see what's going on after a few months, and you see the death toll climb up past 10,000, past 15,000, you got to put some American boots on the ground there. That's what I say. Had we done that, ISIS would have been stunted in its growth. The Assad regime would have been put in check, and countless thousands of lives would have been saved instead of having to pour over the fucking borders to Jordan and running. I mean, when you've got people running to Saudi Arabia, you know there's a problem. Anyway. I'm just reading the most popular headlines here, so we're getting ready to go. I won't be on much longer because my voice is almost gone. Have you guys heard about the Walmart shooting? What happened there? Is it going to come down to a point where nobody's allowed to shoot young black men? Is that going to be the new law? Because, you know, some of them actually deserve it. Now, I don't know if this guy did. I'm very suspicious if the one in Ferguson did. And because Trayvon Martin decided that the right move was to take a guy to the ground and start beating his ass to the point where his head was hitting the concrete, yeah, you're going to get a bullet for that. I'm going to shoot you if you do that to me. But then again, was Jorge out looking for a fight? This is debatable, and I think he probably was. Oh, have you guys heard about the bending iPhone 6? How about that, huh? There's nothing wrong with a bend. You know, if you got something, I don't know, 8 inches long and it bends, well, I call that a pleasure bend. That's just a pleasure bend. Kevin Ward Jr. was high on marijuana. Okay, so let's see what you guys are saying in the chat, what I've missed here. Oh, unseen RD. RD, my computer's gone. I'm on a loaner right now. Sorry, man. Sorry I missed Matt leaving. France is in shambles. C'est vrai ou c'est faux? Good night, yes. Oh, sorry if I missed you, Val. Have a good night. The Khorasan, Paul Dembski says, a group is apparently a dangerous offshoot of Al-Qaeda. I had no idea France was in that of a position. Oh, so you think they may be motivated by financial issues? for joining in this coalition of the willing.